Today I will go over all the formulas that you will need in for the PMP exam. I have a blog that's called talktome.buzzybody.com, where you can just go and just find all the formulas I have listed there. And there are total around 17 different formulas that you might need for the PMP exam. So let's go over some of the formulas here. So first one is for selecting a project. You might need to calculate the present value of the project. So the formula is future value divided by 1 plus r to the power n, when the r is the rate of return, that is the interest, and n is the number of time period. So this is a very known formula, and we used to use for the compound interest. So similarly, the present value is using the same formula. It is the future value divided by 1 plus rate of interest to the power number of times period. Now, second one is expected activity durations. So by what time you can complete the activity. That activity duration estimate is the time management formula. So the formula, there are two different estimates. One is triangular distributions and one is beta distribution. In triangular, you have you'll calculate pessimistic estimate, then most optimistic estimate, and most likely estimate, and the most optimistic estimate, and then you will divide it by 3. For beta distribution, you will just multiply the most likely estimate by 4 times, and you will just divide by 6. So this P stands for pessimistic estimate, M stands for most likely estimate, and O is the optimistic estimate. Now the standard deviation, that is the deviation from your pessimistic estimate from your optimistic estimate divided by 6, and activity variance is P minus O divided by 6 whole square. Now range of estimate, it will be the plus minus of standard deviation from your expected activity durations. Then point of total assumption. This is the point beyond which the sellers need to cover all the cost. So the formula for it is the selling price. It will be defined as selling price minus the target price divided by buyer share ratio plus whatever your target cost. Then I'll just come over all the cost management formulas. These are pretty important formulas, and we just need to understand before try to memorize, or even you don't need to memorize actually all these formulas. You just need to go over what is all these earned values and actual costs are. I'll come over it. Before that, I'll just go to the point number 15 is in risk management. You will find this formula. It is a probability into impact will give you the earned expected monetary value. So probability is the likeliness of the event to occur, and then impact is what is the impact. So for example, you have a 40% probability of losing it by $50,000. Then your expected monetary value will be 40% of 50,000. Now total float. This is the time actually your particular activity can be delayed without delaying your project schedule. So by the definitions, you can easily understand that the total float will be always 0 in your critical path activity, because that is the shortest durations you'll get, and the maximum durations actually you will just get in the critical path. Beyond that, you cannot complete your project. So let's see the definitions of the total float. Is the late start minus early start, or the late finish minus the early finish. Both the formulas will give you the same result. So what is late start? So this is the start date of your activity. Let's say you can start your activity on day 4, and the early start is the earliest possible options you can start an activity. So let's say you can just you can also start your activity on day 1. So there is no dependency of your activity to with some other activities, and you can start from the day 1. But you can also start from day 4, and that won't affect your project schedule. So total float will be that case 4 minus 1, so that will be 3. So this is the way you will calculate total float. So by defining total float is the float of activity. So don't confuse the name total. It is not sum of anything. It is just the particular activity, how much it can be delayed. So communication channel, how many communication channel you might get in your project, that depends on your number of stakeholder. So there is a combinations formula, and so n into n minus 1 by 2. So n is the number of stakeholder here. Now let's go back to your cost management formulas. So what is earned value? So by defining an earned value, you can say that that is the amount of work you actually completed as of today based on your plan. So for example, let's see this graph here. So your project budget generally spent in this manner. This is a kind of S curve here. So your project budget will be spend very little in the beginning of the project. As goes over the time, you will spend more and more of your project budget. So let's say this x-axis is called the cost, and this y is time. So you are plotting this graph over the time over cost, and then you will just let's consider this particular point. This earned value is the value you actually completed as of today. So you were supposed to complete your work, this particular amount of earned value work at time T1, but you took the time T2. So your activity actually delayed by T2 minus T1 time period. So even though your earned value, let's say it was 30K, you earned, you actually worked on this amount of work, but you actually spent 40K. So, and your current time is T2, so your cost will be 40K here. So this earned value minus actual cost will give you the variance that is your project overspent than your plan. So let's consider this trade line. So here the budget till actual completion, let's say, is 100K. So now, as I say, plotted in the graph is 30K is your earned value. So 30K amount of work as per your plan you completed as of today. So your earned value is 30K, and you spend actually 40K. So your cost variance becomes 30 minus 40. So you actually spend 40K over the budget as of today. Now schedule variance. This is actually converted to your cost. By cost you will just denote it. So schedule variance actually tells you your project is on schedule or it is behind schedule, but you will always calculate it by cost. So what is your schedule variance in this case? So let's say you actually completed 30K of work at time T2, but you were supposed to complete it at time T1. So at time T2, your planned value was, you were supposed to complete it $35K of work. So what is your schedule variance? It will be your earned value, the amount of work you actually completed, and then minus the planned value. So that planned value is the amount you planned in your project management plan, that is 35K. So your schedule variance will be 30 minus 35K, that is the minus 5K. Now variance at completion, this formula tells you when you are completing your project, how much money you are overspending. So that will give you, by this formula, is budget at completion. That is the planned value you actually calculated that your project will take. But estimate at completions is the amount that you are right now going to spend as per your current project progress. So budget at completions minus the estimate at completions will give you the variance at completion. So variance, the amount of money you will actually overspend or you will underspend based on your estimate at completions. Now cost performance index. cost performance index is your earned value by actual cost. So it is the unit of cost you are spending for amount of work you are getting. So uh, and one of the important thing you just need to remember. So if you're just trying to remember the formulas, you actually don't need to remember the formulas. But even if you are trying to remember the formulas, always remember one thing: the earned value will come as a first value in your calculation. So if you see the cost variance, you will find earned value minus actual cost. It's not the other way. It is not actual cost minus earned value. It is the earned value minus actual cost. Then schedule variance, earned value minus planned cost. And one of the things you to remember is whenever you are just calculating cost, your actual cost will come at the end. Whenever you are calculating schedule, your planned value will come at the end. So schedule performance index will be earned value divided by planned value. Now estimate at completion. These are the very important formulas, and you will find multiple formulas for estimate at completions depending on what basis you are calculating you are estimating at completions budget. So one thing is budget at completion by your CPI, the cost performance index. So if your current, if you assume that your the remaining of your project work will continue at the same performance level, then you will calculate your estimate at completions by dividing BAC by your CPI. But the project may not complete at the current performance level. You can track your project back on schedule or back on your cost management plan. So what you can do is the actual cost is the amount you already spent. So you cannot do anything else on that amount. So it is already gone on there. So actual cost is already spent. So what you can do is you can just calculate how much amount of money you already have. So that will be coming from the budgeted completion minus the earned value will give you the remaining work. So this particular portion from earned value to BAC is your actual amount of work remaining. So if your future works goes as per the plan, so you will spend as per your plan. So BAC minus EV will actually be required to complete that particular work, and actual cost is the work that you already completed. So actual cost plus BAC minus EV, this particular portions of work, it will give you the estimated completions. Now the third formula is you can start re-estimating the entire things. So for the remaining work, so your actual cost will come here again because you already spent the amount. Then you just bottom up the remaining work estimate and then re-estimate the entire thing. Now fourth formula is one of the important thing is you initially considered the CPI as your one of the index based on your the current performance, but now you want to consider SPI as well, because only cost performance index you may not get a particular nature of your work because you are actually delaying the schedule, and that based on that your cost might increase as well. So actual cost plus BAC minus EV, that is your remaining work, divided by CPI into SPI will be your estimate at completion. So here we are considering both the CPI and SPI. That is cost performance index and the schedule performance index. Now estimate to completions. So here you are just going to some of the forecast that how much money you will require to complete the remaining work. So that will give you like EAC minus AC. This is a very simple formula, like estimate. You just estimated before like what will be your estimated cost at completions. Now if you just subtract your actual cost already you spent, so that is the remaining amount you will just going to spend. So that is a to complete estimate. Or you can just take and re-estimate the remaining amount of work. So remaining amount of work is BAC minus EV. That is your the amount of work is remained, and you can just re-estimate the bottom up or top down, whatever format, and then you will get your estimate to complete. Now to complete performance index. So we just calculated the current performance index by cost performance index by skill performance index. Now it is the to complete performance index. How will you get that? BAC minus AC, that is the remaining work. You need to divide the remaining work with the remaining cost you have. So one of the formula is remaining work is BAC minus EV, that is your budget at completion minus earned value, that whatever amount of work you already completed, that is the remaining amount of your work. So BAC minus EV is your remaining amount of work divided by budget at completion minus actual cost. This particular portion of your graph, this particular portions will give you the remaining cost you have. So if you are trying to complete your remaining work with the amount you have left, that is this particular formula, to complete performance index. So by this formula you can actually tell, if you let's say you had 100k and you already spent 40k, so you have 60k of work, 60k of amount in your hand, but you have 70k's of amount of work remaining. So your to complete performance index will be 70 divided by this 40, this 60. So 1 point, it will be more than 1. So you have to perform very aggressively to meet that. So if you just want to complete the remaining amount of work with the limited amount you have to overperform the remaining amount of project. Now the other formula is, you may not meet this particular case because you have very little amount to spend. So you have to you already calculate estimated completion. Let's say your budget is approved and then the estimated budget is approved and you got more money. So your to complete performance index with that amount will be your remaining work, that is the same again, the BAC minus EV, and then the estimated completion minus actual cost. So you re-estimated or you just calculated what will be your estimated value, then the amount you will get, you can just get the to complete performance index. So if you perform on that TCPI level, you can still meet your project by you will end up your project at EAC amount. So these are all the formulas from the cost management, and these are the very important formulas. So I will suggest you go to youtalktome.buzzybuddy.com and check all the 15 formulas you have, and then try to understand and just check this particular image as well. So that will give you the kind of fair idea, like what is the amount remaining. So if you just check this particular portion, so BAC minus EV, so this is the amount I said that this you already completed. This is the amount of work you already completed, and this is your total budget. So this particular portion tells you how much amount of work is remaining. So this particular portion tells you this is the actual cost you already spent, and this is the total budget you have. So this amount tells you like how much money do you have in your hand right now. So you can just refer this graph, and this graph also tells you like what was your plan. This black S curve gives you the plan, how your budget will be disbursed, and this red lines actually tells you like what is your current performance going on. So this is actual cost you are just spending over the time. So just refer these graphs and the forum, and then I hope this video will help you to just memorize or to better say that to understand what are the formulas for and how it is derived. And thanks for watching. Just leave your feedback. Thank you.